How are we doing, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be showing you guys a quick guide on how to get the max damage on both fire and storm. So this does not really account for resist as much because obviously we're going for the most aggro build as possible. So this is the gear setup that will get you the most damage output with still having 100% critical. So we're gonna start with storm first on my main Tyler down blade. So we're gonna look at about 175 damage. This is really the max you can get. This is all the various ways we're getting it, but I will be going through each gear piece one at a time. Just keep in mind the Dragon gear set really does help. It gives you a little bit of damage boost to every school. So we have the 175 damage, 28 resist. Like I said, the resist is not so important. As far as farming goes, you really don't care about your resist. If you get hit, you can just heal back afterwards. As far as bosses go, you obviously are going to have a healer on the party, and the healer is going to heal you every round or so. So resist is not really so important. On top of that, a lot of storms and fire, they both use frenzy, which obviously makes you a lot more squishy to begin with. So I think like resist is the last thing anyone is worried about as far as offense PvE goes. Critical is 482. This is 100% critical. You really only need 437, but yeah, so the rest doesn't really matter. So it's up to you what kind of jewels you use to get up to 837. Pierce 11. It's about standard. Pierce is not so important for PvE unless there are some bosses that require you to have Pierce, and at that point you can just sock it on. Not sock it on. You can equip a different theme. So yeah, we're gonna go to each gear piece at a time. We have the Dragoon hat, we have the Malastier's robe. It's crazy, this thing came out in like 2013 or 2014 and we're still using it for some reason. I don't know when we'll get a better robe than this, but until then, fire stock with this. Alright, we do have the dragon boots, that's good, and this is necessary. This is all that's necessary. You can't really like work around it and try to go with Vanguard. You're not going to benefit. Vanguard doesn't have the 3 set effects, I don't think. So the set effects I'm talking about, it's obviously this right here. We really want to aim for the 3 set effects for every school because the 5 set effect really doesn't benefit you a whole lot. So the 3 set effect here gives you 7% accuracy and 5% damage. This kind of helps for storm because every time you tempest you have a chance of getting a pip back, which obviously means your next tempest is going to do more damage because you'll have more pips. So that does come in handy occasionally. At this point it does get a little pay to win. You have the wand and you have the mount. These 2 items are going to cost you some crowns. Even though the wand you can technically farm, you can go to the Sultan Gauntlet and you can go with your friends, farm up the final boss, and maybe you'll get this wand once in a while. It's very hard drop, it's very difficult to get it, but if you guys can farm it, you can. If you guys want to just drop the crowns and get it yourself through packs, that's an option also. As for the theme, we're using this. This is really the best theme for storm. It does work out. It gives you 100% accuracy and 100% critical, so it seems to be the best one that I've noticed. As far as jewels, let me see if it shows here. Okay, so it does show. So I have 2 17 sockets, 17 critical jewels socketed, but you can obviously use 18 critical jewels. It won't benefit you a whole lot, but it will look a little bit nicer, I guess. And health jewels, obviously, like if you want to farm up, get the tier 1 125 health jewel, you'll get 1 extra bonus health. So that's up to you guys if you want to farm for that. It's not a priority, so any health jewel is generally okay. As far as amulet, this is where storm has a little bit more flexibility than fire. Storm can actually afford to use a lady of spiders or lore, which is the Morgana Amulet. And we also have the Flygaunt's medallion, which is Shane's amulet. These 2 have very similar stats, only the lady's lore has 5 less critical, which storm has so high critical that it can make up for it, where fire really can't. And we'll get into that as far as when I get to the fire section of this video. I personally like the lady spider because, like, for me, when I farm bosses and stuff like that with my friends, this storm blade, the double storm blades, come in pretty handy. That's why I like this, and I get a little bit extra health from the socket, tier socket, so that does come handy also. And as for the square jewel, I socketed on 5% stun block. It does come up a lot more often than you think. I feel like 5% is a lot more than 5%. It's probably like 10 or 15. but it comes up way too often. Same with the ring. We have the Dragoon's ring, and we have the same 5% stun block jewels. These you can farm from Husk, so that's where really where my fire comes in handy a lot, is because I farm in Elemental Grove. You can farm in either Astral, Elemental, or Spiritual, but I like Elemental Grove the most. And the Storm, the boss at the end is Storm. So if I use my Storm against the Storm boss, it's a little bit hard to farm because I do have to use Convert. But my fire can just straight up go do a ton of damage, and that just works out. 125 health, 122. I have to get a better jewel, but this is what it is. You don't need more. As far as the set effects, you guys already saw, we are using the 3 set effects right here. And the pet has to be exactly this. I can't exaggerate enough. A lot of people will try to sock it on a Will or a Mighty, try to get that extra little bit of damage, but I promise you it's not going to work. It's just how the numbers work out. Even if you have a, well, mine isn't like 2.0 max stat, but even if you had a max stat pet, you still wouldn't get 4 damage from socketing on a Will jewel. So just do what's right and just sock it on a standard Storm Boon Amethyst. It's really the best you can do. As far as the mount, yeah, this is definitely pay to win. You do have to drop a ton of crowns to get this, unless you're like really lucky and you get it early on. But I got it like a long time ago, so it's not like I dropped money like immediately. I got it during events, like during the half packs, like 50% off pack sales. That's really the best time to farm them if you guys do want to get them. Not farm, drop crowns on them. So yeah, if you don't have this, you can always get the 2% damage mounts. I don't know if I have any on here, but no, I don't think I have any. No. But yeah, the 2%, they do come up in the crown shop occasionally, so you guys can drop some money on that. It's a little bit more free to use, I guess, less gambling. But yeah, honestly, at the end, you still have to spend crowns. Actually, with the 2% damage mounts, if you're really willing and you really have the patience to do it, you can actually go to one of your friends' Polarian bundle house. I forgot what it is called, but it's the house that comes with the Polarian bundle, and you can fish in that house. I don't know how many hours it'll take you, but you can get a 2% permanent damage mount, the Narwhal mount. You can get it off fishing. I've gotten it before. I've just randomly gotten it. You can do it too. It takes a long time though. And lastly, you're going to need the Storm Paradox deck. This is true for every school. If you're going for max stat, right now I only have Fire and Storm ready, but my Death and my Myth are next, so they're almost ready also. And obviously with this, you do have to farm for Dragoon gear for ages. That's really why this takes so long to make. But yeah. As far as this deck, we're also using the Lustrous Pip Opal, and this way we get almost exactly 100% critical, and 100% pips, and obviously 100% crit also. And the set bonus does give you the enough accuracy so that even when bosses and minions mantle, you really won't fizzle too often, so that does come up very clutch. So yeah, that's for Storm. You gotta follow exactly that. Just in case you were curious, this pet is in the kiosk, so if you guys want to go ahead and get it, it's named Baron von Baden. Most of my good pets are named that, so if you see it, it's probably my pet. Let's move on to Fire. And let's see. Okay, so yeah, so I got my Fire to 130 recently. I'm actually gonna record some videos tonight for PvP. So I know you guys have been waiting for that turn-based stuff, but you know, it's been taking a little while. I want to get used to turn-based. I want to get good at it before I post videos, because you know what it is with me. You know, I gotta post the best of the best. So I don't want to post a mediocre PvP and you guys get the wrong information from me. So when I put videos out, you guys are gonna know that's gonna be the best strategy for that format. And right now, I'm not really sure what the best strategy is, so I'm working on that a little bit. I'm training with my friends online, just, you know, constant practice matches and stuff like that, working on new strategies. So yeah, I don't want to just dive in not knowing what I'm doing and just and lose, right? So yeah, let's just do the PvE first. So with Fire, a crazy part with Fire is you still have 175 damage for a Fire. That's pretty nutty. Fire is finally mass enough to Storm. And with Fire, it's a lot more stringent. Is that the word for it? It's a lot more strict with what kind of gear you want to use, what you have to use. So yeah, I'll show you the gear pieces and I'll explain why it's so important. So we have 175 damage, 29 resist. We have a lot of flat resist here, but that's just what the Flygon, not the Flygon, the Shane Amulet. Accuracy is 36, just enough so you don't fizzle your scimitar. And obviously we have the 100% critical, 841, 13% pierce, and the pips are going to be 91%. It is not 100%, but that's really the best you could do. There's really no way to get it higher without sacrificing another stat. Hat is Dragoon, and the robe is, we're using the Radiant Light Brigade. This is a robe that I personally like, because I'll come back to it in a little bit why I prefer this robe over the Malastairs. But we have the boots, we have the Dragoon's boots, which is kind of mandatory. And same thing here, the Caputin's grappling hook. This is super important. This is really going to be the main way that you're going to be getting this 175 damage. And yes, this is also farmable. You can farm this from the Sinbad Gauntlet. Edge of the Shadow Web. Unfortunately, there's no better PvE theme for fire, so you can use this theme. It's really the best one as far as damage goes. Unless you look at the Dragoon, actually. Yeah, the Dragoon has 18, but it doesn't have pips. So yeah, just stick with this one. As far as the amulet, you have to use the Shade Amulet. You really don't have a choice. I have the Morgana Amulet also, but you lose 5 critical, and those 5 criticals matter so much. You can't get 100% without it. So you do need the Talisman of the Daystar. And same thing here, I have socketed 26 flat resist. You can have, if you have Stunblock Jewels, you can put Stunblock Jewels here too. But I don't have them right now. I'm farming for them over time. But yeah, Stunblock Jewels are fine also. Dragon Ring, standard. And yeah, so the health jewels, I'm farming these. I'm trying to get them to 124, 125. But no luck just yet. And yeah, so this is interesting. This is the difference between my fire and my storm. I do have straight up 18 critical jewels on this. You don't need it if you use the Tennyson robe, the Light Brigade robe. So you see right here, we're using the Light Brigade robe, which gives 4 more critical than the Malastairs robe. Like just straight up 4 flat critical. Now if I use the Malastairs robe, look what happens to my stats. The critical goes down to 837, which is on the dot exactly 100%. And that is only doable because I have like the best critical jewels that you can currently get. I straight up have the 18 critical jewels. Even if one of these jewels was not 18 and one of them was 17, you would not have 100% critical. However, if you have the Radiance robe and your critical jewels are 17, for example, then you can still get 100% critical. So I think it's a lot more easier to farm this robe than it is to farm 18 crit jewels. So just do yourself a favor and just go to farm Tennyson with your friends and just grab a robe for each school. They really are best for most schools except for like Storm and just Storm. I think every other school benefits from it, so that's crazy. Ring, Dragon's Ring, standard, and this is where the pet does become important. We have the double critical, triple damage fire pet. So these stats have to be very high. First of all, main reason why, because we're actually socketing on Thinking Cap Opal, which gives you a plus 65 will. Now just because of how percentages work out, and if you're curious about how these percentages really do matter, you can look up Wizard101 pet calculator on Google, and it'll show you a whole bunch of sites that will actually calculate your pet stats before you trade it to Ultra or Mega. So this isn't a 2.0 pet by any means, but it is very, very close to the 2.0 line. So by 2.0 it basically means like max stat. But yeah, this is just barely enough. Like I threw it into the calculator and it's just barely enough for me to have the extra 3 damage from the Giver, Pain Giver, and Fire Dealer. So each of these are giving me an extra damage, and obviously Thinking Cap gives you a little bit more critical and a little bit more critical on the Striker and Assailant. So those are also important. Thinking Cap Opal is really the best tool you can use for fire. And as for the deck, we are using the Fire Paradox deck, same as Storm, and obviously the pay to win mount, we're using the Fire Culture mount. Yeah, so there's really no other way to go about this. It's just so strict for fire that you have to have the best of the best gear in order to receive 100% critical while having what is ideally the max damage. However, like I said guys, fire and storm by themselves, if you don't care about critical and you want to get damage purely, you can get damage, just a lot more damage. I have a friend, Tyler Iceblade. I don't know if he's online, but he showed me this really cool setup for PvP where his fire had 185 damage with the infal pet, I think. So that was crazy. I know that you can get similar stats for Storm also, but the only downside is you're not going to have 100% critical. You're not going to get very high stats this way. So as far as PvE goes, definitely this is really what you want to aim for. If you guys have any questions that I haven't answered in this video, please comment them below so that I can answer them for you. I do look at every comment, so I will try to do my best to help you out. So also just subscribe to my channel. I will be uploading more videos this week, maybe tomorrow or something, so stay tuned for that. They'll probably be PvP based, so you can definitely go ahead and check those out when they come out. Alright guys, thank you guys for checking out this video. I will see you all later.